start off with an observation, because what I like most about joining conferences and looking at it is seeing the overall team. And the funny thing is that it depends, of course, of the talks that you attend, and everybody has his own experience with the conference. For me, is that we talk a lot about change. Maybe we don't talk that much about testing this conference. We talk a lot about changing the world, and we're getting aware of the fact that things are changing so rapidly that we want to change, want to get rid from the old stuff, want to go to the new stuff, or we feel that we need to do that. So we talk a lot about changing the way, changing the organizations, and I think the ideal world is striving towards what we call Agile right now. The Agile principles, trying to cooperate with other people, trying to set up teams with new stakeholders in there, and trying to find our own personal, what works best for the team. And the great thing about that is that we finally learn to fail forward, to make mistakes and learn from that. But one of the key things is that collaboration is a true success factor of that. And I recently wrote a column about that and said, like, as testers, we do need to collaborate. The testing field is emerging very quickly, so it's not only about functional testing, we have non-functional testing, security testing, we got testing in the cloud, we got virtualization, we got test automation. It's too much to handle as a single person, so we need to cooperate. But now we need to cooperate even more because we're letting other people in the team, the developers, the business analysts, the product owners. And collaboration is quite a difficult thing. I did some change programs, some agile implementations, where we started off with the artifacts, the routines, the traditions of Agile or Scrum, where we started off with the real stuff, the testing stuff that I say, well, that's where I come from, that's where I have my authority. But then learning that we can talk a lot about testing, about test design techniques, etc. But basically, if we want to drive that change, we're stuck up with the people. And people issues come arising quite quickly. So there's an ever more need because the world is diversing even more. We cannot just talk about testing, we need to talk about people aspects, about culture aspects, organizational change. So for me, I think it's quite a challenging period because it all comes together, at least in my head, and I try to keep those things in, but sometimes it's overflowing, because I need to find solutions with my people to deal with all those different aspects. And that's a difficult thing. And sometimes I have the feeling we have something which like working titles say full circle, or maybe we could call that back to square one. Because every organization started with people, with their beliefs and their things. And from the group of people, we came to culture, which defines how we work in organizations. And from that, I think when I was a starter, I just went into an organization, absorbed all that, and create my own culture. And some cultures I adapt very quickly. Some organizations I feel at home, others don't feel that well. But we all have their own culture and we're in a cultural environment. But from that, I learned a lot about testing. So for years I've been talking about testing and trying to improve the testing by talking about testing and making the testing better. And now I think I'm like 17 years in the trade. I'm all the way back to square one. Because it's not about testing, it's about the people, it's about changing the people, it's about the culture, the way that we communicate with each other. I've been in organizations where we want to have vulnerability and openness, which you need in the agile situations, of course. If you have a stand-up, you can show a chart or something. If you have a retrospective, you can say everything went well. The true value is if you dare to be vulnerable, if you dare to show your vulnerabilities or your worries, and say, like, I as a person have a problem, can anybody help me? It's about people, it's about culture, about safe environments in which we can enable those changes. So we're not talking about testing anymore, we're talking about all the other stuff. And especially at this conference, where the team is so much, we'll finish in 1 minute, where there's so much about change and less about testing, there's a little bit worried that maybe we overreact and start doing all those people stuff, which I really like. But we should not forget there's a lot of stuff around it. And there are a lot of newbies that don't know that stuff yet. So they might end up inventing their own wheel, their own failure curve. And I think there's a message in that. And there's a task for us, because we here, the people that know the trade, should take the leadership and help the people that don't know all the books, don't know all the theories, all the pitfalls, and help them guiding in their own search for the best way for the team, and say, well, there are some stuff on the shelf, you might need to blow some dust off it, but if you turn it around a little, it's very useful for you. And I hope we all can do that to guide the next generation into a very effective personal process where they can collaborate and be effective in delivering value software. Thank you very much.